All right, everyone, welcome back to the channel. This is Decoding with Cody, and we'll see who jumps on here. Give it a minute. If any of you are in the chat now, would you guys please give me a thumbs up if you guys can hear me and if you guys can see the screen clearly. Let me know by giving me a thumbs up in the chat so I know. Hello, Sig310, and hello, Bob. How you guys doing? Got a lot to talk about in this video, guys. I mean, to be honest with you, Joseph Aquaviva 2222, who just commented in this chat, he is live right now talking about the same exact thing that I'm talking about, which is the movie that just came out called Leave the World Behind. So that's what we're going to talk about here. We're going to talk about how this movie ties in with Matthew Perry's death, which was in October. Thanks, guys, for the thumbs up. Hello, Courtney and Chia. Thank you, guys. So give it a few more minutes to see if anyone else jumps on. And then I'll start talking about what I got to share here. So hopefully all you guys are doing well. There might be a lot of people watching Joseph's channel right now, so I might not get quite as many viewers as usual, but and if you guys don't know, like I said, Joseph Aquaviva is live right now talking about the same movie I'm talking about. So hello, honey. How are you? I see my girlfriend's in the chat, Magdalena. Yeah, I mean, there's so much to talk about here with the Matthew Perry and the Friends connection. I mean, this is just crazy, guys. I mean, if you guys haven't seen the movie, I'm going to spoil it. So if you guys haven't seen the movie and you want to see it, then, and you're worried about me spoiling it, you might not want to watch this. All right, we got 23 in the chat. So, I mean, let's just go ahead and get started. So, this movie just came out on Netflix today, December 8th, right? And this, I'll bring up the cover so you guys can see. It's called Leave the World Behind. And it's, if you guys can see there at the top, it says there's no going back to normal. So they're certainly telling us there's no going back to normal, right? And again, this movie was released on Netflix on December 8th. And this number is going to be a big number that I'm going to talk about in this decode. So, but I want to point out that this original release of this movie was on October 25th, which was 3 days before the death of Matthew Perry, right? And Matthew Perry died on October 28th. The movie was released on December 8th. On Netflix. So you have the same number, the 128, and the 128 is going to be a number I'm going to talk about a lot here. And there's a reason why Matthew Perry dies on 10/28, and this Leave the World Behind movie comes out on December 8th, which is the same number, essentially 128. And there's so much more to talk about, but I'm just going to kind of hopefully take it step by step. Hello, Sean. I see Sean's in the chat, and Kelly's also in the chat. Hello to you both. Hello to GT Loveful also. Anyways, Leave the World Behind, guys. Let's get into this. So this movie is starring Julia Roberts. All right. And the first connection I'm going to make here to Julia Roberts is that, well, Julia Roberts dated Matthew Perry. So again, this whole decode really for me is going to be about the connection between Leave the World Behind and Matthew Perry's death October 28th this year, okay? Basically, the movie, Julia Roberts stars in this movie, and she dated for a short time her ex-boyfriend, as it says in this article on CNN. Julia Roberts is remembering her ex-boyfriend, the late Friends star Matthew Perry, okay? And Julia Roberts is in this movie, Leave the World Behind, okay? And so I've got slides for you guys. I'm going to take you through the movie, and I'm going to show you how everything is super scripted. So let me hopefully I can explain this clearly. Hopefully you guys can see my slides also. And so the movie starts out with Julia Roberts' character waking up and saying that they're going to go on a trip to a house that they rented, and their family's just going to have a nice relaxing weekend away from the city, right? And on their way to this house that they rented, the little girl, the daughter of Julia Roberts, she is watching Friends. Okay? She is absolutely obsessed with the Friends show. In fact, she's trying to watch the very last episode of Friends, which is called The Last One, and I'm going to get to that in a minute. But this little girl, Julia Roberts' daughter in the movie, is obsessed with the show Friends. Now, Friends has Matthew Perry in it. And remember, Julia Roberts dated Matthew Perry, who starred in Friends. So the little girl, Julia Roberts' daughter, is obsessed with Matthew Perry's show. And again, I told you guys, this movie came out originally October 25th. Matthew Perry would go on to die 3 days later, October 28th. Okay. What are the chances of that, guys? I mean, you guys, people need to understand that there's no absolute chance that Friends would be so heavily in this show, and there's such a connection to this movie and Matthew Perry and Friends. Okay. Because again, they start out the movie by literally showing you this little girl's obsession with this show, and it's going to continue throughout the whole movie. Okay. So just remember that she's obsessed with the show Friends. And the next slide I have here for you is, so basically the family arrives at the home that they rented for the weekend on Long Island, and they are going to go enjoy the beach. Okay. So they get to the beach, and all of a sudden they see this ship coming from the sea, and it's coming right at them, and it's not slowing down. So what happens is the ship doesn't stop, and it ends up running ashore right in front of where they were sitting. So they all get up and run. And this is an oil tanker, but it says White Lion on it. Okay? White Lion. And this is where we get into the Barack Obama connection. Okay? So I'm gonna go away for a minute, away from the Matthew Perry connection. I'm gonna go to the Obama connection. So as I said, Joseph Aquaviva 2222 is currently live at this moment, also talking about this same thing, and he's probably going to have way more Barack Obama connections than I do. But the production company that made this movie is called Higher Ground Productions, and Higher Ground Productions is a production company founded by former U.S. President Barack Obama and former First Lady Michelle Obama. Okay. Now, let's make a connection to Matthew Perry and Barack Obama. Okay. So Matthew Perry and Barack Obama have a connection as well. And again, you're going to see here this picture where you can see that Matthew Perry shares a throwback with President Barack Obama. And Matthew Perry reveals that Barack Obama is his man crush. Okay, so Matthew Perry reveals that Barack Obama is his man crush. And here you can see a picture of both of them. And again, this movie, Leave the World Behind, is created by the production company of Barack Hussein Obama. It's called Higher Ground. Okay, kind of like Satan falling from a higher place, higher ground. And when I've already made so many connections in other videos about Obama being connected to lightning and falling from heaven, right? And so anyways, Barack Obama is the man crush of Matthew Perry. And Matthew Perry is connected to this movie because the girl in the movie is obsessed with Friends. And again, Julia Roberts, who stars in the movie, dated Matthew Perry. So anyways, back to this ship that's running ashore. It's called the White Lion. And the reason I'm saying this, I'm bringing up Barack Obama now, is because Barack Obama is born in the sign of Leo. August 4th is Leo the lion. Okay, Barack Obama is born in the sign of Leo, the lion, the sun, right? This ship is the first bad omen that comes in the movie, that there's a blackout, okay? That there's been a cyber attack. In case you guys don't know, the main premise of this movie is that there is a cyber attack, a mysterious blackout, right? So what are the chances that the first bad omen is a white lion? And a white lion, let me show you. A white lion in gematria equals 128. And this is the number that I'm going to continually come back to throughout the decode. And why is white lion coming up on shore? And why does it equal 128? Well, again, this movie came out on December 8th. December 8th can be written 128. And again, I told you Matthew Perry, he died on 10/28, which is also 128. And the reason that this ship is running aground is because there's been a power outage and there's no GPS anymore, okay? So therefore, it's the cyber attack, the power outage, that causes the ship to run aground. And why is that important? Well, because power grid equals 128. In fact, notice that the word power grid, let me get that for you guys to see here. Hold on a second. Let me cut this down a bit. Sorry guys, my computer is freezing up on me, so hopefully I don't lose connection here. So anyways, it's the ship called the White Lion that runs ashore. It equals 115, 128, and 47, just like power grid. And again, the reason that this ship is running ashore is because the power grid, or the cyber attack against the power grid. And again, it's all about this 128 number, because again, the movie released on 128. So that is the reason for the White Lion. It's connected to Obama being the Leo, the lion, and the sun. And it's connected to the power grid. All right. So the next thing that happens in the movie is after they get back from the beach, they realize that all of their appliances are not working. The Wi-Fi is not working. All the stuff is out because there's a blackout, right? And you guys, I've been talking about a blackout on my channel for so long. And this movie is just more proof that the next big thing that's coming most likely is a cyber pandemic, a blackout. Anyways, the next thing that they see in this movie, if I can get my computer to load. Sorry, guys. I hope this isn't going to be annoying for you guys. But anyways, the next thing that happens is they get home, all the appliances are not working, and the little girl who's obsessed with Friends, she looks out the window and she sees a bunch of deer. And the reasoning for this, guys, is because something happened when the cyber attack hit. It caused the animal migrations to be messed up. So all these deer are migrating together away from certain areas. And so this little girl sees deer. Actually, I'm sorry, this is Julia Roberts. She sees deer, and her husband comes up to her and says, those deer are representative of good omens according to the Mesoamerican mythology. So again, I want to point out that the word good omen also equals 128. So the first two things that happen in this movie have the connection to the 128. If we take away these 115s here, you're going to see that all the 128s already in this movie is all about the 128. It comes out on 128. The first thing that happens is the white lion. And then the second thing that happens is a good omen of deer showing up. And good omen also equals 128. Now, cyberpunk is basically connected to this also because cyberpunk is all about futuristic dystopian world based off technology, which could also be basically connected to the power grid, the cyber attacks, and cyber warfare. Okay. So just keep in mind that cyberpunk also equals 128, like power grid, like white lion. Okay. And in case you guys missed it, the deer are showing up. Okay. And so why deer, guys? So let me just show you one number that I want to really bring up here. So not only is a deer on the very front of this cover, we got a deer there, or you could say it's a buck, right? But the point in this movie is that it's just deer. There's a bunch of deer showing up because they're migrating, and they're invaders, really. They're invading, and I think this kind of represents the invasion of all of these people across the border in a way. But there's a lot of different things you could say about this. So anyways, lots of deer, and there's a deer on the front of the cover. So why a deer? That's because the number 192. Okay? 192. It's the big number here. So, Leave the World Behind is the name of the movie. And Leave the World Behind equals 192. On the front of the cover of Leave the World Behind is a deer. And in fact, the deer show up constantly in the movie. And deer just happens to equal 192 in the Sumerian cipher. In case you guys don't know what the Sumerian cipher is, it's the ordinal cipher multiplied by 6. So 32 times 6 equals 192. And therefore, Obama, his production company is the one who made the movie. Notice that Obama also equals 192, like deer. And again, Michelle Obama, and Barack Obama, their production company, made the movie Leave the World Behind, which equals 192, like Obama and like deer. And again, there's a deer right on the front of the cover. Now, I also want to point out that abomination, which is a play on words of the abomination of desolation in the Bible, abomination equals 192, like Obama. And Abomination is a book written about Barack Obama. See, it's called The Abomination. Anyway, Abomination equals 192. And it's basically a book written against the left politics and the cult of personality, which this goes back to what just happened with CM Punk. If you guys watched my last video, CM Punk's song is called Cult of Personality by Living Color. So this book is by Jerome Corsi, and he wrote it and he called it Abomination, which equals 192, like Obama, like deer, and like Leave the World Behind. So all the 192s, guys. And just notice that Yale Skull and Bones also equals 192. And so I told you guys that in this movie, it's a cyber attack. Okay. So here's my next slide. In this movie, it's a cyber attack that causes the power to go out. Okay. So first they see this EAS warning, right? And remember we had that EAS system, emergency alert system thing on 10/4 last year or this year. And later on CNN, so they're literally watching this, guys, on the movie, and CNN comes up and says cyber attack across the country. Power outages reported along the East Coast. So it's a cyber attack that takes down the grid. Okay. I've talked about this so many times you guys are confused about how much I've talked about this, go back and watch all my other videos. Go back and watch my Blackout is commencing. Go back and watch my last video. I talked about it also. But anyway, this is a cyber attack, right? And so now we're going to go back to July 29th. So on July 29th this year, it was reported all over the news that the US is hunting Chinese malware that could disrupt American military operations. American intelligence officials believe the malware could give China the power to disrupt or slow American deployments and resupply operations. If you scroll down, just give me a minute, guys. My computer's loading. It says the Biden administration is hunting like deer. You hunt deer, right? And this movie has deer. Okay. And so anyway, back to the malware. The Biden administration is hunting for malicious computer code it believes China has hidden deep inside the networks controlling power grids. Power grid 128, just like the movie was released on 128. Communication systems, water supplies that feed military bases in United States around the world, according to American military. The discovery of the malware has raised fears that China's hackers, probably working for the People's Liberation Army, have inserted code to disrupt the U.S. military operations. So basically, guys, they're saying that a Chinese malware has been inserted into the military and the U.S. military thing, okay? This is exactly what's happening in this movie right here. They're telling you, cyber attack, a malware attack. And later in the movie, you find out that China is also involved in this. There's 3 countries. Later in the movie, one of the guys reveals that there's 3 countries that are involved in this attack on the United States in the movie. One of them is Korea, North Korea. The other one is China. And the other one is an Arabic nation, most likely Iran or something like that. And they tell you that in the movie. They tell you North Korea, China, and an Arabic nation. Okay, I'll get to that more in a bit. But anyways, let's look at what Chinese malware attack equals in gematria, guys. It equals 192, just like the name of the movie, guys. The name of the movie equals 192. It has deer on it, which equals 192. The movie is done by the production company of Obama, which equals 192. We all know what Yale Skull and Bones is, most of us. And then Chinese malware attack, 192. And I already showed you a real life article about a Chinese malware attack in July of this year. Okay. So if you go back to this article by the New York Times, it's connected to this movie. And I believe they're already setting the stage for a real life scenario very similar to what's happening in this movie. And again, these are images from the movie, guys. This cyber attack across the country is from the movie Leave the World Behind. Okay. So again, the 192. And why do I have the American Nightmare in here? Because the American Nightmare is Cody Rhodes, the wrestler who I've talked about a lot. Okay. Cody Rhodes is known as the American Nightmare. And next year, I expect Cody Rhodes to dethrone the champion Roman Reigns around the Great American Eclipse. And this is all about America being taken down from the outside by cyber attacks. Cody Rhodes next year will be having a match one day before the Great American Eclipse. And he's known as the American Nightmare. And again, the American Nightmare also equals 192. And in this movie, Leave the World Behind, which equals 192, it's all about America being taken down. So it's American Nightmare, 192. Okay. Now, don't forget that 9/11 was also an American nightmare, and it was all a Yale skull and bones ritual, which equals 192. So, anyways, I think that's pretty obvious by now that the 192 is big. And I forgot to mention Super Bowl 58, which comes up next year, equals 192. The guy who's performing at the Super Bowl, Usher Raymond the fourth, equals 192. So again, let me bring up all the 192s. So next year has 3 events all tied to the 192. You have Cody Rhodes, the American Nightmare. You have the Super Bowl 58, which equals 192. And you have Usher Raymond IV, who's performing at the Super Bowl, equals 192. So this number, we're going to have to watch out for this number as we go through next year, because this is obviously an important number for the year 2024. And yeah, it's just everything about this movie, the deer, Obama, all 192 connections. Okay. So anyway, with that out of the way, let's get back to the movie. So after they realized that there's been a cyber attack on the grid, remember in the beginning, I told you guys that they rented the house out for the weekend. Well, what happens is these 2 darker skinned people return to their own home that they rented out. And they say to these people that are renting their home, oh, sorry, guys, we noticed that there was a blackout in the city. So now we've come back to our home and this is our home and we rented it out to you. And then they let them in, right? So again, this is symbolic, guys. The black people, like a blackout, are being let in to the house, even though it's already their house. Like I said, these black people, this is the dad and the daughter. This is their house that they're renting out to these white people, Julia Roberts and Ethan Hawke, the 2 characters, and their children. So basically, they're in a bad situation, right? Because now these people rented out a house and paid money for it, and now these black people who own the house are coming back because of this blackout. And it's just symbolic of the black, right? So anyways, so now you have these 4 characters and the 2 children. You have the 2 adults, the 2 white adults, the 2 black adults, and then the children of the white couple, right? And again, I told you in the beginning that this daughter, she's obsessed with Friends, the show Friends that Matthew Perry was in. And she wakes her mom up in the morning saying that her laptop is not working. She can't watch the final episode of Friends. She's so obsessed with this show. It's the only good thing in her life. She cannot go on without watching the last episode of Friends. And so she wakes her mom up in the morning just to tell her that her electronics are not working and she can't watch this show. And so you guys can just see that it's all about Friends. And again, this goes right back to Matthew Perry, who just died 3 days after the initial release of the movie. Okay. Now, again, October 28th, the day Matthew Perry died, is 128, just like the day of the movie Leave the World Behind, released on Netflix on December 8th, 128. Okay. Now, Matthew Perry dated Julia Roberts, who stars in the movie. Matthew Perry was also had a man crush on Obama, and it was Obama who was responsible for this movie, essentially. Okay, so you see all the connections to Matthew Perry, right? And it just keeps getting deeper and deeper with Matthew Perry. So Matthew Perry died on October 28th, and I'm going to go over to my Matthew Perry slide for a minute. So Matthew Perry died on October 28th, which was Bill Gates' birthday. In fact, it was Bill Gates. Let me bring up Bill Gates. October 28th is Bill Gates' birthday. And this year, the day that Matthew Perry died was Bill Gates' 68th birthday. Okay. So Matthew Perry dies on Bill Gates' 68th birthday, and Barack Obama equals 68. Matthew Perry had a man crush on Barack Obama, and Matthew Perry died on Bill Gates' 68th birthday. Okay. And Barack Obama equals 68. Not only does Barack Obama equal 68, but Matthew L. Perry, if you use his middle initial, equals 68. What are the chances that he dies, Matthew L. Perry dies on Bill Gates' 68th birthday? Matthew L. Perry equals 68. Matthew L. Perry died on a hunter full moon. And remember, the hunter hunts deer, and deer is all about this movie, Leave the World Behind. Hunter full moon equals 68. So it was Bill Gates' 68th birthday, Matthew L. Perry, 68, Hunter full moon, 68. And this is where we get into the Elvis Presley connection. So I know I'm jumping all over the place, guys, but just bear with me here. So Elvis Presley, he got the polio vaccine on live TV the first time on October 28th on Bill Gates' first birthday. So that means that Matthew Perry died on the 67th anniversary of Elvis's shot for the vaccine on live TV. So let's just look at the gematria, guys. Look at all these 67 and 68s, okay? First of all, Elvis equals 67 and 68. Matthew L. Perry equals 67 and 68. And Matthew L. Perry died on the 67th anniversary of Elvis's polio shot and the 68th birthday of Bill Gates, okay? He also died on a hunter's full moon. Hunter full moon equals 68 and 67. Now remember, it was Elvis that got a polio shot 67 years to the day that Matthew Perry died. And Matthew Perry equals, and polio also equals Elvis, 67, 68. Also notice that Elvis Presley, his full name, equals 67. So what are the chances that Matthew Perry, so let me just show you the measurement, guys. From Bill Gates' birthday on 1955 to Matthew Perry's death, 68 years, okay? So Bill Gates turned 68, Matthew L. Perry equals 68, Elvis equals 68, and again, Elvis had the polio vaccine on 10/28 on Bill Gates' first birthday, okay? So Matthew Perry's death on October 28th was completely tied to Elvis's polio vaccine and Bill Gates, who is currently the vaccine guy, right? So this day, October 28th, is a huge day, guys. Absolutely huge day. And the fact that all of these words equal 67 and 68, and don't forget that Matthew Perry drowned in water, and water equals 67 and 68, like reset equals 67 and 68. And I mean, just think about it, guys. All these 67 and 68s, and Matthew L. Perry dies on the 67th anniversary of Elvis's polio vaccine and on Bill Gates' 68th birthday. Absolutely undeniable. It was just absolutely insane. And again, Matthew Perry drowned in water, which equals Elvis, which equals reset. The opening to the Friends, okay, so Matthew Perry starred in Friends, and the opening to Friends is the song I'll Be There For You, and they're standing in front of a fountain of water, and Matthew Perry spits out water from the fountain. And at the very end of this, of the opening episode to Friends, Monica, who in the show is Matthew Perry's girlfriend, she turns off the lights, guys. She turns off the light and all the lights go out. That's the very end of the opening intro to Friends. So you have the water and the reset. You have the currency reset, which is also going to happen. And you have the lights going out, which is all part of the currency reset. Again, currency, like water, okay? So I'm sorry I got off on a tangent, but I needed to explain to you guys how important that day was, October 28th, and how it was connected to Bill Gates and Elvis Presley, who equals water, right? And big shout out to Jurassic Liars on YouTube, who is the big guy about Elvis and water and reset. I got to give him a shout out, okay? So Jurassic Liars, you guys, most of you guys probably know who that is on YouTube. If you don't, just type in Jurassic Liars in YouTube. It will come up. He talks a lot about Elvis and water and reset, okay? So let's get back to Matthew Perry. So his ex-girlfriends in the movie leave the world behind. And again, it's all connected to this cyber attack. So the guy who stars in the movie, let me go back to my slides for a minute. So anyways, this girl wakes up her mom saying, I want to watch the last episode of Friends. Mom, can you please go on the roof and fix the internet so I can watch the last episode of Friends? Okay. But then the husband of Julia Roberts goes out to try to find out what's going on because all the communications are down. And what keeps coming up on his radio is a emergency alert, and he keeps having it come on the station 1619. And what's interesting about this number is this is essentially the year that Barack Obama was born. And again, I already told you that Barack Obama is responsible for this movie, but Barack Obama was born in 1961. This is basically a mashup of the year 1961. Barack Obama born in 1961, okay? And this emergency alert keeps coming up over and over on his radio. And yeah, so I think that's the reason for the 1619 that keeps coming up. Also, this is the golden ratio. 1618 is the golden ratio. But yeah, anyway, I mean, this is Barack Obama's birth year, essentially, 1961. So after that, we go back, and this little girl who's obsessed with Friends, she sees all of these deer now showing up at the house. And she just can't figure out why all these deer are showing up. Well, it's because the migration patterns have been messed up by all the cyber attacks and whatever caused this. So again, they bring the deer into it. And basically, the deer are all over this because of the connection to Obama 192. Also, I'm thinking the deer could be connected to some sort of virus that could come from deer. Wasn't there a virus that was connected to deer? I don't know if any of you in the chat can know anything about that, but there could be something connected to a virus and deer. I have to look more into that. But the next thing that happens is my good old plane crash, guys. I keep talking about plane crashes. They keep telling us over and over and over again that a cyber attack is going to bring down the grid and airplanes are going to fall out of the sky. I've seen this in a number of movies. I've seen this in so many movies, plane crashes, guys. And remember the movie that came out earlier this year called Plane, and it said on the beginning, it said on the front of the cover of the movie, the crash is only the beginning, and it's a plane crash. And there was also a movie last year, I can't remember the name of. Oh, Knock at the Cabin. It had plane crashes in it. There was a movie last year called The 355, where cyber attacks bring down planes out of the sky. And in this movie, the cyber attack is also bringing down planes. And so here you see this black guy, who is the father of the other girl I showed you earlier. He's running because the planes are falling out of the sky. And again, I've told you guys the symbolism of planes falling is all over the place. So again, they had to put it in this movie as well. So watch out for major plane crashes. I mean, it's coming. Anyways, then it goes to part 3, and that is the noise. And this is very interesting, guys. This part of the movie really scares me, to be honest. It doesn't really scare me. This is something I would not want to go through, okay? It's called The Noise, part 3. And the reason that they call it The Noise is because there's this very loud sound, this high-pitched sound that keeps coming to these people, and they keep hearing it, and they have to cover their ears, all right? And it's called the noise. They just call it the noise because they don't know where it's coming from, all right? But as I showed you before, the people that are supposedly attacking the United States have been dropping these. They were using drones to drop these brochures or these pamphlets that says in Arabic, it says "Death to America." Okay, so the enemy in the United States is dropping these forms that says "Death to America" in Arabic. Okay. And this is the son of Julia Roberts in the movie. He's the one that points out that this Arabic word here means death to America. Okay. Notice it has the serpent on it, the snake, right? When is the year of the snake, guys? 2025. Okay. So while I think this is pointing to 2024, I think it's pointing to 2025 also. The year of the snake. Remember, 9/11 happened in the year of the snake. So in the year of the snake, is there going to be an attack on the United States again, just like in 9/11? Remember what happened in 9/11? The year of the snake, there was attack by an Arabic country on the United States, supposedly, right? And here they're telling us the year of the snake, okay? And I already made a video about the year of the snake. If you guys want to go back on my channel and watch the year of the snake and how it's connected to blackouts and what this movie about, guys, it's about a blackout. So again, my research is pointing to 2025 and a blackout and an attack on the United States. Now, I've already made videos about that. So if you guys want to go back and watch those to see how this movie is confirming what I already put out there, you guys can go back and watch those videos. So anyways, this says death to America in Arabic, and it's got the snake, like the year of the snake, okay? So the next thing that happens is they try to escape to the city again, and they can't get there because all of these self-driving cars are crashing into each other because the system is down, and all these self-driving cars are now all just crashing into each other. So they can't even get to the city anymore because the road's completely blocked with these self-driving Teslas. These are all Teslas, and they're all new cars that drove themselves off of the lot of the car dealership, and they just crashed into each other. Okay, so just a bunch of chaos. So what happens after that is we go to part 4, which is the flood. Okay, so the flood puts me in mind once again of the reset or the water. How did God reset the earth? Well, he used water, and water equals reset. Okay, in all 4 ciphers, water and reset and Elvis, all 4 ciphers match. So the next part of this movie is called the flood, which could also be part of liquidity or currency, like a market crash, a new money system. Okay. And again, Matthew Perry's death was probably hugely connected to a water reset, currency reset also. So after that, what happens is the girl is now trying to watch the last episode of Friends. Okay. You guys can't see it here, but this says right here, it's Friends, and it's the last episode of the entire series. It says the last one. Okay. So hold on, guys. Hopefully my computer doesn't malfunction here and mess everything up, because my computer is really messing up right now. Yeah, sorry guys, I need to wait a minute because my computer's frozen. Anyway, in the chat, I see that Square Peg's in the chat. Nice to see you, Square Peg. Hope you're doing good. Yeah, Kimberly, she's saying it's all part of the Muslim end of days. Yeah, I mean it's definitely tied to that. Come on, I wish my computer was working, guys. I'm sorry about this. Anyways, the last episode of Friends is called The Last One. And just so I can verify that for you guys, let me go show you. So here's the last episode of Friends. And it's called The Last One. And the girl in the movie is trying to watch the last episode of Friends. The only thing that gets her through all this chaos is that she gets to watch her Friends episode, you know? So it kind of reminds you of how most Americans are. The only thing that gets them through the day is their entertainment, right? Hold on, guys. My computer's freezing once again. I'm literally about ready to... I don't know what's going on with this thing, guys. Anyway, I can't even move my mouse. So I'll just try to talk a bit here until it resets itself. So anyway, the girl is obsessed with Friends, and she's watching the last episode of Friends, which is called The Last One. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. I can't even move my mouse. Hey, Captain Flatastic. Hello, glad you made it. Also, hello to Morgan. I see Morgan's in the chat. And hello, Modak Roughstock is also in the chat. Good to see you all. Again, guys, if you guys are just getting to the stream, I'm currently having computer issues, and my computer is not wanting to work. So give me a minute. The last episode of Friends. Let me close this out. Oh my gosh. I'm losing everything. Sorry guys, I'm gonna close it off. Okay, can you guys still hear me? Give me a thumbs up in the chat if you guys can still hear me. Okay. Yeah, so you guys can hear me, but my computer is not working. I can't even move my mouse. So I can't even show you anything. I don't know what to do in the middle of a live stream. I don't know what to do. Yeah, I can't even move my mouse, guys. It's just malfunctioning. Just my luck. Yeah, my mouse is not plugged in, guys. It's not a normal mouse. It's one of those touchpad mouses, and it's completely malfunctioning. I can't even do anything. Yeah, my mouse is moving, but it doesn't. I can't direct it to the right place to actually click on anything. It's all just messing up. All I can do is move it, and it sometimes just hitting it makes it. I don't know. So it looks like this live stream is going to be cut short, at least as far as the... Okay, thank you, Captain Flatastic. I'll try that. Hold on. Yeah, and that's not working very well here. Hold on. I was afraid this was going to happen because it happens to me often. So anyways, guys, let me just kind of explain the rest of this movie that I have to explain. Hopefully I can do it by talking to you. So just ignore whatever I have up on the screen because I can't even move my mouse. So anyways, the girl is watching Friends. Okay, the young girl in the show is watching Friends. And basically, she's obsessed and she can't watch the show. So again, she's trying to watch it, but she can't, right? And oh, my mouse is working again. So let's hope I can fix this. Hold on. But now my whole computer is messed up because... Let me refresh this. Oh my gosh. Sorry guys, I'm gonna have to open up a new window with my Canva. Hold on a second. I just need to go back to my presentation I was on, and then I'll be able to start again. Okay, so looks like it might work. I just need to close out more tabs here. Hold on. All right, so guys, here we go. Just give it a minute to load, and then we'll be on the way here. Yeah, ultimately, so guys, with my computer, there's no mouse pad. It's one of those. It's not even a mouse. It's one of those touch pads that's attached. It's inside of the computer. You know, one of those. I don't even know what they're called. It's one of those flat pads that you just move your finger across it, and it moves your mouse. It's very annoying because I have a Chromebook, so. Yeah, I just need a new computer soon once I have the money, but because I've been traveling I don't ever have the money to put into a new computer. So anyways, let's see. So back to this girl. So she's trying to watch the last episode of Friends. It's called The Last One. And The Last One is the name of the episode of Friends, right? And just happens to equal power outage. Okay, so 15152. Just notice that the name of the episode of Friends, the last episode of Friends, is called The Last One, which equals power outage. And this girl is unable to watch the last one because of a power outage. Do you see the joke? And also the white lion from the beginning of the movie I showed you. So yeah. Anyways, once again, the Friends thing is coming up. So now the black guy is explaining to Julia Roberts' character how he has a friend in the government, and he's telling how the cabal that run the world. So they're literally saying in the movie that there's a cabal that run the world, but he's saying that his friend in the government has been warning him about this blackout and about what's coming. And he's giving her the details on what he knows about the. And so anyway, this is why I just took a picture of this, because this is him explaining to Julia Roberts about the cabal that run the world, about the cyber attacks that his government friend gave him the information. And of course, guys, the last chapter of this very movie is called The Last One, just like the last episode of Friends is called The Last One. So what are the chances that this last episode of Friends is called The Last One, and the last part of this movie, Leave the World Behind, is called The Last One? And again, I already showed you that the last one equals power outage, also equals Great Reset. Sorry, the Great Reset. 151, the Great Reset. The last one, 151, and power outage, 151, okay? So in this last chapter, I think I missed a slide. Oh, shoot, there's a slide missing. But what happens in this last chapter is the son of Julia Roberts, he begins to feel sick, and he starts to lose his teeth. So yeah, thank you guys in the chat. If you guys do want to support the channel, I will be greatly appreciated. I appreciate you all in the chat trying to help out. I appreciate you. But yeah, I'll get into the chat in a minute after I finish. But basically, they're trying to basically get him help that he needs because their son is losing his teeth. And they go to this guy that this black guy knows. He's a doomsday prepper, and they go to him because they think that he'll have medicine to help with the son's teeth falling out. And this is just crazy, guys, because the son literally wakes up and he starts pulling his teeth out. And we end up finding out that the son has radiation poisoning from a microwave weapon. Okay? So this guy here tells these two men who are trying to help the son losing his teeth that he has radiation poisoning because he's being microwaved basically by a microwave weapon. So what these people do is they attack the power grid, and then they start using a weapon that literally microwaves you. Okay? Now, the kid does get bit by a bug. So I'm wondering, now get this symbolism, guys. So this son, he gets bit by a bug, and he thinks he has Lyme disease, but really what happens is he gets microwaved by a weapon. So what if there is something in the bugs, or should I say the jibby jabs, that will microwave you? Okay, and hasn't there been theories about this very thing? How there's something in the jab that they can use a weapon to microwave you? This is exactly essentially what they're saying here with this scenario. So I found it really crazy that they were using this scenario where he gets bit by a bug and then he gets microwaved and then he starts losing his teeth because of radiation. And then at the very end of the movie, you see bombs being dropped on New York City. And again, we've seen lots of symbolism for bombs being dropped on New York City. And, it reminds you of 9/11. So that's one of the last things you see. But the very last thing that you see in the movie is this little girl, the girl of Julia Roberts, who dated Matthew Perry, who was the star of Friends. The little girl, she goes and she finds a bunker, and the guy who had the bunker just happened to have a movie of the 10th season, a pre-recorded 10th season of Friends. So the little girl finds the 10th season of Friends, and she goes in, and she's finally able to watch the last one episode of Friends. So do you see how crazy this is? It literally ends. This movie literally ends with the theme song of Friends playing. Okay, I'll be there for you, which is the Friends theme song, and the movie. Okay, the movie Leave the World Behind ends with the Friends theme song playing as the credits roll out. And it ends with the little girl watching the last episode of Friends. Okay. And notice that Matthew Perry is holding twins. Does this remind you of something like the Twin Towers? So the last episode of Friends, Matthew Perry and his girlfriend in the movie or in the show, Monica, they're holding twins. So yeah, what a joke, guys. And again, I told you this movie came out 3 days before Matthew Perry died. And yeah, I couldn't believe my eyes when I saw that this movie ended with the Friends theme song. And if you guys haven't watched the opening credits of the first season of Friends, you're going to see that Monica, which is Chandler's or Matthew Perry's girlfriend, she turns out the lights as they're watching the water fountain, right? And that's symbolic for the lights going out, the blackout, and then the currency reset. So, yeah. And that's a good point, Kimberly, twin female energy, because the female has the X and the X chromosome. I've already told you guys that next year is about the year of the X, and females have 2 X chromosomes, right? Which is why I think probably Kamala Harris becomes first female president next year, too. That would make sense. Because next year is the X, the 24th letter, and female has the 2 X chromosomes. So, let me see if I missed anything else. So, I wanted to talk about this guy who stars in the movie. His name is Mahershala Hashbaz. And he's the black guy that stars in the movie. And he is named after a prophet. He's named after Mahershala Hashbaz in the book of Isaiah in the Bible. It's the name of the prophet Isaiah's second child in the book of Isaiah. Okay. So this character is born in Oakland, California. That just happens to be where Kamala Harris was born, Oakland. And his name is Mahershala Hashbaz. I don't even know if I'm saying that right. But and his last name is Gilmore. So let's see what that equals. And this guy is super coded because he's basically the main character of the movie other than Julia Roberts. And Mahershala Hashbaz equals 242. And the reason that this number is important is because Chinese malware, which I already showed you the article of earlier, equals 242. Notice that Chinese malware equals 64, like Matthew Perry died on the day leaving 64 days in the year, like Barack Hussein Obama equals 64 in the same cipher. So let me just bring up the 64s. Hold on. So just notice that Barack Hussein Obama equals Chinese malware. And in this movie, Barack Obama is responsible for this movie. And in this movie, there's a cyber attack, Chinese malware, that attacks the United States. And in the movie, the cyber attack is reported in the movie by cable news network, which is CNN, and that equals 64, like Barack Hussein Obama, and like Chinese malware, and also like Israel, when we just had the Israel thing pop off. So Israel equals 64, like Joe Biden. Big number, guys. 64, big number. Joe Biden, 64. Kills 64. So lots of 64s. And but I want to talk about the 242 because I talked about this number before in connections with blackouts. So if you guys go back in my videos, you're going to see 3 videos that are titled "The Blackout is Commencing." And interesting that this was posted 1 week ago. But look at that, guys. I have a video that pops up on my, if you type in "The Blackout is Commencing," my video pops up. What I think that's a first for me. But yeah, "The Blackout is Commencing" is a phrase that I got from the Philadelphia Eagles, where they show the world going black, and they use the phrase "the blackout is commencing." Now, the reason I'm bringing up this phrase is that I've already made 3 videos about this phrase, "the blackout is commencing." And when I typed in the main character of this movie, Mahershala Hashbaz, Gilmore, his name just happens to have a match to "the blackout is commencing." And remember, he is the one that shows up at the door, symbolizing the blackout coming, right? He shows up at the door, and he's obviously a black guy. He shows up, and he's telling them about the blackout that happened. And his name equals "the blackout is commencing." It also equals Chinese malware, which I already showed you. There was a Chinese malware attack. It could be blamed on, a blackout could be blamed on a Chinese malware attack. Also, again, I told you that cable news network equals 242, and CNN is the one in the movie that broke the news of the cyber attack. And this number I talked about in one of my "Blackout is Commencing" videos. Go back and watch it, guys. I talked about this 242 number, and then it comes up again in this movie. Before I even knew anything about this movie, this number came up again. So I just wanted to point this number out because it's connected to the blackout. And if you guys want to go, it seems that the Eagles just posted this video a week ago. I know that they didn't post it a week ago because I know they didn't post this a week ago. I'm pretty sure that this "Blackout is Commencing" video was posted by the Philadelphia Eagles on 11/27/2022, I believe. But anyways, if you guys want to go watch this video of the Philadelphia Eagles, you guys will see, you can watch this video on their website. "The Blackout is Commencing." So, and again, this movie is all about the blackout, all about Matthew Perry. And remember, before Matthew Perry's death, he kept posting cryptic messages on his Instagram saying, "I am Matman," which is tied to the Dark Knight, Batman, right? So they're telling us about the Dark Knight that is coming. So Batman is known as the Dark Knight. And just notice that the Dark Knight also equals 64, like Barack Hussein Obama. So, let me just pull that up for you guys to see. I'm Matman. So this is Matthew Perry's posts. His last post, right? And he's also symbolizing the Dark Knight. He's doing this in the middle of the night. He's got the moon in the background. And he's in the hot tub. And apparently he died in the hot tub. And then he's got the Batman symbols, the Dark Knight. The Dark Knight is rising. And he just had this obsession with Batman, right? In his last post, he had this obsession with Batman. He also wrote this book called The Big Terrible Thing. Friends, Lovers, and The Big Terrible Thing. Now, I don't think I decoded this, but let's just decode it live and see if I find anything. So what is this big terrible thing? Is this the blackout that's coming? That's what I think the big terrible thing is. So the full name of his book equals 383. That's interesting. Interesting, the full name of his book equals 185, like the Carrington event, which was also a blackout in history. I've talked about that number. So let's see what the big terrible thing equals, or the big terrible thing. Interesting. But anyways, guys, what is the big terrible thing that he is writing about? Is it addiction? I guess to him it's addiction, but I think there's more to it than that. So anyways, and remember, Trump is also tied in with this. We just had the cover of Economist come out with Trump. And Trump often says that he's Batman, right? And you had the cover of The Economist, The World Ahead 2024. It shows Trump, his face making an eclipse, which is pointing to next year's eclipse. So Trump is also tied to this. Obama and Trump always tied to everything, guys. That's just one thing you'll find. In case you guys want to see how important Obama is to this whole charade, Obama was born August 4th, 1961. Batman also equals 84, guys. Actually, The Batman, which is the name of the last Batman movie that came out, The Batman equals 84, like Obama was born on 84. And I currently have 84 people watching. That's funny. But just notice that The Batman also equals 159, like Donald Trump. So 159 like Donald Trump. But The Batman is... so let me show you this. So Obama was born August 4th, 84, 1961. John F. Kennedy, and the reason I'm bringing up John F. Kennedy here is because JFK is born on the opposite day of the calendar of August 4th. He's born on 5/29. That's the opposite day on the calendar of August 4th of Obama's birthday. And he was assassinated in 1963, which means that Obama was apparently born 840 days before the assassination of JFK. Why is that important, guys? Well, because Obama was born on 8/4. Obama, born 8/4, born 840 days before the assassination of JFK. Just think about that, guys. What a coincidence, right? That he's born 840 days before the assassination of JFK. And he's born on 8/4. And just so you guys know, in one of the ciphers, I can't remember what cipher it is. I think Obama equals 84. In Latin. In the Jewish cipher, Obama equals 84. He's born on 8/4, 840 days before JFK assassination. Okay, so craziness. So anyway, I'm going to jump into the chat. Let's see what you guys are saying. It's been a long decode for me. Hey, Morgan. Let me see what you're saying. Batman is the name of the river flowing into the Tigris. Really? I did not know that. Square Peg Divergence talking about third eye blind. One-eyed Willie. That's interesting. Christy, you're saying I should check out Beyond the Veil. Yeah, I feel like I know that channel, but I don't know if I've ever watched his channel. Was Ethan Hawke in The Purge? So yeah, Ethan Hawke, he's in this movie. I also think of Ethan Hawke, I think The Black Phone. I know that Ethan Hawke was in The Black Phone. But if he was in The Purge too, I mean, this guy is obviously somebody that's very ominous. You know what's interesting in this movie too, Leave the World Behind? Two actors that I think look alike are Ethan Hawke and Kevin Bacon. They have a dialogue in this movie together, and I've always thought that these two actors look alike, Ethan Hawke and Kevin Bacon, and they have a kind of a fight in this movie, actually, those two actors. But yeah, The Purge is definitely connected to this. And yeah, it is starring Ethan Hawke. So this guy again, he's born on November 6th. But yeah, he was in The Black Phone. He was in a movie called Devil Knows You're Dead. That's interesting. And he was in a movie called Before Midnight. Another interesting title considering a blackout symbolism. And he was in Moon Knight. I remember that now. He was in that Disney show called Moon Knight. So he's all about darkness and purge. Yeah. His daughter, Maya Hawke, also equals 192. Like all the 192s I already showed you guys. She was in Stranger Things. Did the daughter have a 96 tattoo in the movie? Interesting. I didn't notice that. I didn't notice the daughter having a 90. Oh, guys, also one last slide I forgot. So in this movie, they show us the eclipse, right? They literally show an eclipse in this movie, which I believe is pointing to April 8th eclipse coming up, the Great American Eclipse. So you guys are talking a lot about the eye symbolism in the chat, I see. Hawkeye, Buckeye, eyes wide shut. So what I really found interesting about this movie is the noise I told you guys about. It's called The Noise. And it's basically a microwave weapon. So this is definitely interesting. Okay, so this guy Mahershala Ali, he also played in a movie called Moonlight. Interesting. So yeah, and this eclipse in the movie, they zoom out and they show the eclipse from the moon. If you guys watch it, they zoom out and they literally zoom out to the moon and they show the American flag that's supposedly on the moon, which I don't believe. And they zoom out and from the moon you can see the eclipse. So I think that was very interesting as well. Lots of symbolism. I'm going to rewatch the movie again, guys. If I see anything more, I'll share it. But thank you guys for pointing that out. Yeah, you're right, Kelly. Ethan Hawke does mention a bat in the movie. I remember that. I thought about that when he said it. Square Peg says if they're diamond, shiny, bright, something in the sky, do not look. Yeah. Yeah, I see Morgan's in the chat reading people's minds again. Good job, Morgan. So anyone else have any additions? If you guys haven't seen the movie, if you guys see anything else that I missed, I hope I covered it all. I mean, it all goes back to Obama. I'll hire his production company, Higher Ground. There's a lot of other numbers I could have talked about, but I just try to keep it simple in this. Yeah, that's a good point, Kelly. The fact that the couple is named Amanda and Clay, like man is made out of clay. That's a good point. Let's see. Well, I'm glad I made it through this live stream, guys. Even though I had that that malfunction in the middle. Thank you guys for showing up once again. Thank you guys for the support. Yeah, I mean, just a heck of a detail. Let me end it out here with the 192s again, so you guys can see all the 192s as I leave. So yeah, again, watch out for this number next year. I think we're going to see this number come up. This isn't the last time. This Leave the World Behind 192, just like Obama 192 and Deer, Yale Skull and Bones, Chinese malware attack, Super Bowl 58, which is next year, equals 192. And yeah, I think I'll be having my eyes out. So yeah, thank you guys for coming along for the ride tonight. It's about time for me to hit the bed. It's getting late here, and this live stream was a bit messy, but hopefully it was understandable. And thank you guys for in the chat for giving shout outs. If you guys would like to support the channel, my Buy Me a Coffee link is in the description or in the chat in the white link above. And yeah, I thank you guys as always for the support, and I love you all so much, and it's just good to have this community and this family to share my findings with, and also to get a lot of good clues from you guys as well. So much love to you all, and much love to all of you in the chat, and also Joseph Aquaviva. I'm going to go check out his video. He was doing a video at the same time I was, so I wasn't able to check his out. If you guys didn't check him out, go check out Joseph Aquaviva 2222, 42s, and he also did a video. I'm sure he had a lot of great finds. I'm going to go watch it as well. So with that being said, many blessings to you all. Have a good day and night wherever you are, and I will see you guys in the next decode. Much love and many blessings. Take care.